Hey guys, I wanted to come on here and clarify the last video that I uploaded. I When I made the video, it just kind of came out the way it came out, and I just pushed it out. It was really hard to make. I really didn't want to do it, so I was scant on a few details. And I've gotten a few comments, and I kind of wanted to just address something, address the way things are going. I mentioned in the last video that her father was not a good guy, and it's true. He would agree with that fact. And the reason why I know he would agree with that fact is because of the changes that have occurred. So buckle up, we got some more story time. If you recall, I mentioned that there's a period where we got a miracle. Brittany came out of organ failure. That happened 3 months before she passed away. And it was during this time that, I was in the hospital with her, beside myself, not knowing what to do. And friends and family were gathering in the hospital before we brought her home. And one night, it was past when visitors were supposed to be there, and there was a knock on the door and to Brittany's room. So I went and opened the door, because most of the time nurses just come right in, right? And I had seen her father before, and I seen pictures, and he was standing there. I was stunned. Up until this point, Brittany had, up until this point, Brittany had been working through a lot of that trauma that she experienced at his hand and at others through therapy. The very same therapy that she's mentioning and we're talking about now. And about 2 or 3 months before this event, before she went down the first time, her father reached out in this text message that stunned her and actually stunned our therapist as well. And because Brittany showed her the message, and this message seemed to be full of humility, and like it was different than any other message that he had sent her, and it was like something had clicked in this man that up until this point I had been just about terrified of, because I didn't want him. He had such far-reaching, effects on my wife. It was totally different than the man that I had in my head. Anyway, so Brittany, even before she went into the hospital, she was considering, reaching out to him and talking to him. I think she even did respond, but it came from a place of hurt, and it was honest. But she did respond to him, which, and she was considering continuing this exchange and going back and forth and so on and so forth. So Brittany goes into the hospital, and her father shows up at the door, and I didn't know what to do. I didn't know what to say. I was beside myself. My wife was dying at the time, and I think I even pushed him away. Yeah, I did push him away that night. I didn't let him see her, because she was unconscious, right? Like, but she could stir, like you could touch her and she'd open her eyes a little bit and then she'd go back, you know. So I didn't want to hurt her. I wanted to make sure that when she saw her father, it was kind of, she was aware and she was under her own consciousness. But as time went on, and it looked like she wasn't. When it looked like her her organs started to fail. God, why am I even crying? She made it out of this. When her organs started to fail, and I realized that it might be the last, I let her in. I let him in, and I let him say goodbye to his daughter. And she wasn't awake. She was down. And this man he told me that, he's like, I know that I'm not welcome. I know that I'm not, I know it's okay. Like, I just want to be nearby. If that's in another hotel room, 30 miles away, I don't care. I just want to be nearby. And that, again, that humility, that sort of owning of who he was. and then she came out of organ failure. And you'll see, she came out of organ failure, and Milo, stop it. You can't have this. It's too loud. She came out of organ failure, and he had gone home. He went home actually at my request. That's another story that I'll cover. But he went home, and when she woke up, everybody who came to visit her went home, and then she woke up and everybody came back. And she just got stronger and stronger, and she saw her father, and her father cried, and that was it. Their relationship was repaired. This man who she was terrified of, and is part of the reason why she started therapy, and you have to understand, it wasn't just, he came back. It was the whole family, the whole side of the family. She didn't just run away. Well, she didn't run away. She left home when she graduated to get away from them, to get away from him and many members of that side of the family. She had escaped that whole side of the family. Like, she ran from it and just wanted to live her life away from the whole situation over there and some of the enablers and that kind of thing. So when this happened, it was like repairing this huge, like, this man was not who I had come to know in my head. He was someone totally different. He was kind. He was godly. He was repentant, which is not what I expected. And Brittany fell in love all over again. She had her father back. She had her family back. And the same family got 3 more months with their daughter and my wife. They got 3 more months. They got 3 more months where they were able to have with her and be with her and love her. And she responded and reciprocated that love. And now I have a stepfather. I am still in touch with that side of the family. I never expected any of that. And I'm grateful. I now have a stepfather, and it's not what I ever imagined. So let's talk about healing. Milo, would you stop? I can't stop this dog. He just wants to dig a hole, and he wants to dig it in the couch. I don't know why. Anyway, stop, Milo. Cutie pie. Yeah, I knew. Anyway, so let's talk healing. I have come to believe that that healing would not have been possible. Brittany had shut off an entire section of her family. She had cut it off, and she was trying to live this godly life, and I think it was amazing that God was able to use the situation in the way he did, and all of it to give her a chance at reconciliation, to give them a chance at reconciliation and healing. And my gosh, I don't know what to say. It was amazing. And the change that has occurred in her father is very evident. And it was happening outside of our knowledge. It was happening alongside, the experiences that we were having. And that one event gave us the opportunity to actually reconcile. It gave her the opportunity to actually feel the love that she probably missed out on whenever she was younger. And her father doesn't make excuses for his actions. That's something that I'm acutely aware of. He's intensely aware of his mistakes and his follies, and it's weird because there's so many times in our lives where we look at somebody and it's easy to just say, I'm going to cut them off. And, I need to protect myself. And that is a real thing. Like, you can still love someone and respect them as a human being at a distance. Like, totally legitimate. Totally real. But I think it's amazing when God steps in and says, no, let's actually repair this. Let's make this whole. And there's changes in people's hearts, and there's honest to goodness reconciliation and healing. And I don't know, I'm just kind of rambling now, but I do want to make a small caveat. While I'm acutely aware that there are abusers in the world, and there are terrible people that you escape from, and you put them behind you and you walk away and you choose to distance yourselves. And there's nothing wrong with that. There is nothing incorrect about protecting your life and saving yourself from anybody. So I don't want to say don't do that, right? Because that's dangerous. But in our circumstance and the way things played out, it just so happened to be something different, something special. And all I can do is say thank God for it. Our God is a God of miracles and a God of healing. And we call him the great physician and, and so many other names. I like to call him the ultimate creator and the great storyteller. My own little personal, I'm not sure what they call that, but a little name. Like he is the ultimate storyteller. He has a story and he tells it. And I don't know. I just am honored to be a part of it. We're all a part of it, every single one of us. And I think it's something when you look at your own life and you say, I'm not sure what God's doing at this moment, but I know that he's actually writing this and I'm playing my part. And I think we all played our parts. I know we did. So anyway, that was the caveat that I wanted to make. And I know I kind of rambled a little bit. And but it needed to be said. So thank you guys for listening.